Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts Shipyard Champions. Today we have a very, well, let's say mythical challenge. Yulari has created the Rock and the Stormbird. The Stormbird has been sighted. Your mission is to destroy her rocky nesting place and capture her. The mission is to destroy the enemy battleship, which is a pre-designed battleship from the 1950s. It has to be done inside of 30 minutes. You need to survive the battlecruiser, which is the Songbird's Wrath, for 45 minutes. You may not actively target the battlecruiser. If the battlecruiser is harmed by purposefully targeting her, you are disqualified. Restrictions. You may not use more than 6 torpedo tubes. So it's not launchers, but tubes. You may not use high explosive rounds. This challenge is armor piercing only. This goes for main and secondary guns. Your main guns may not be of a caliber greater than 16.5 inches. Great. Now, as for scoring, sinking the rock within 30 minutes will give you 10 points. Not sinking the rock will give you 0 points. Surviving the Stormbird for 45 minutes will give you 2 points and double your score. Destroying the Stormbird will disqualify you. Damaging the Stormbird on purpose will disqualify you. And purpose in this case means that you manually target her or keep your guns trained on her for more than a single salvo after you realize the AI swapped targets. Your own vessel. If you lose your own vessel after the battleship is destroyed, you will lose 5 points. And if you lose your vessel before anything is destroyed, well, 0 points. So the job here is to build a battleship that is both survivable and capable of sinking the enemy battleship with 16.5-inch guns at the best. This is going to have to be a very, very, very punchy battleship. Now, for this challenge, I'm once again running the Dreadnoughts Improvement Project and version 1.5.0.1. So it's a relatively old version. And this means that some behavior relative to the vanilla as well as to the more modern versions might be significantly different. Right. I'm not sure exactly how much firepower I can put on this ship with 16.5-inch guns, because it is an enormous hull, and 125,000 tons should give me some opportunity to make sure that this thing has both armor and punch. I think 20 inches of main belt should be sufficient. 4 belts, let's say 7 and 7 main deck. I'm going to try and defend against incoming shells there. Aft deck, 7 and 7. Superstructure, 3. Conning tower, 20. Right then. Long-range firepower and accuracy will be provided by the Super Pagoda Tower 2. The secondary tower can be, let's see, a long-range accuracy booster, 9.5, 13. I think that's the best that we can field. So there. We're going to have a very large funnel, but it does not fit. Does the large one? Yeah, large one fits. Engine efficiency, 60%. It's because I'm trying to do gas turbines and 30 knots. Might be a bit much. Oh, that's fancy. Everything moves, but the funnel. Sometimes the way that the developers have decided to stick some parts to other components and then not others does not make a whole lot of sense. Okay, so with this format, I should have plenty of engine power. I can do 30 knots, which will allow me to run away from the Stormbird after I've sunk the battleship. I don't need a ton of range. And as for radar, we're going to go for the most advanced stuff. Radio, yeah, RDF does help a little bit with gun aiming speed. Then the guns. Ah, yes, the guns. I wonder, can I put a 16.5-inch turret on the side? The answer is yes. Next to this funnel, I can. I can probably even make it a triple. It just has some issues with turning. So I'm going to up the beam. Give a bit more room for that 16.5-incher. And now it should be a pretty happy camper. Now it should... Really? There we go. Now you're happy enough. Okay, I don't want to have these things be capable of penning as much as possible, because I don't exactly know what I'm facing. But I have a fairly good idea that it's going to be heavily, heavily armored. Cap ballistic shells, I don't care for that. We're going to go maximum armor piercing. And as for secondary guns, I don't feel like I need any of them. Simply because, well, if the Rock, the battleship, is heavily armored, I will not likely depend that thing with secondary guns at all. As for the rest of the guns, let's throw a barbette on there. That might fit, but it would look a bit weird. I wonder if this is going to fit. Now the 16, that's a 20. The 16 and a halves are 7,500 tons a pop if I'm going quads. Which I can field a few of. Let's say when I have one on the bow, stern. Now you're too heavy because I just bloated the superstructure, or bloated the citadel. That's a problem. So we need to do something about this citadel. It might just be a very traditional ABXY ship. Like, it's not particularly impressive, it's not particularly creative, but if it works, that's kind of what we're going for. These things reload in 64 seconds, considering that the enemy has... I only have 30 minutes to sink the battleship. So with this gun and this crew, I can have, let's say, just shy of 30 salvos. And that's if the guns immediately snap to the target, which they won't. If I have a dual barrel gun, reloads in 48.8 seconds. So let's say ROF-wise, this is better. Accuracy, 20 kilometers out, is 9.5 to 16.5. And this is 9.8 to 16. This is 9.5 to 16 as well. Single barrel, nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. So, yeah, we're going to just try and make up with this volume of fire approach. If I give them standard 16s, maybe I can push that reload down just a touch. And the long barrels, like, they aren't strictly needed, but I'm going with those to get additional pen on the guns. Because the additional pen on the guns might just help. This thing can now pen 41 inches of belt armor. If I give him standard barrel length, we're looking at 34. Well, actually, that should be sufficient. And it also boosts the reload substantially to just under 40 seconds. Okay. Maybe that is a little better. Yeah, I guess we're just going to have a fairly box standard battleship. Except, of course, for having it in an ABX format with quad turrets. But outside of that, the hull feels rather empty. Rather empty. Now, let's make sure that all of these turrets can do a very, very good 360, giving me ample opportunity to snap to targets. Although, well, actually, they can already do it. Okay. What am I going to do with an additional 6,000 to 7,000 tons? Because I've got the armor that I need. I could just have another turret. Okay, you're going to sit there. I could go completely bow in. Hold on. There. The ship's overweight. Somehow the ship is not actually bow heavy. And I minimized the size of the citadel. Okay. Yeah. Why not? Why not? Firing angles are going to be somewhat challenging. Yeah, that's the problem. The firing angles are going to be impossible. If I go just full broadside, I can bring 16 barrels to bear. Whereas I have a very narrow angle of opportunity if I want to try and do that with this setup. Yeah, unfortunate. No joy. No joy. So one there and one there. Now we're slightly too heavy. I can probably push the main tower inwards somewhat. Put this on backwards. And that ought to do it. Push this thing together somewhat. Because now my citadel's too big, and that's what I'm pretty much paying for right now. Come on. Yeah, you can definitely move a bit. There. Okay, and then you point yourself inward. See, I'm saving thousands of tons here. This thing can turn, this thing can turn. Okay, so I need about 1,700 tons liberated. Let's remove a torpedo blister. Some guns have poor field of fire. What are you talking about? You're talking about this gun? That one? What guns exactly have a poor field of fire, according to you? Because all of these things can supposedly freely spin around. So I don't exactly understand where you're coming from. Yeah, reload time is 30 seconds. Reload time for this is 38 seconds. So doubling the barrels does give you quite a bit more rate of fire. Yeah. Alright. The rest of it, like maybe I can reduce the beam. Make this thing sleeker. And thus potentially save some weight. Well, it's not really going to do that much, I'm afraid. Actually make it unbalanced. Yeah, okay, fine. Make it a 12% greater beam. We're going to tack on some more armor. If I'm to protect against my own guns, we're going to have to bring a lot of armor. And I simply don't have that much. So let's say 22, 24. 24 is a bit much. Yeah, man. There. 22.9. Okay. Ship is called the Shoho. Let's see if the Shoho can sink the rock. Right, so I was planning to do this in the Dreadnought Improvement Project version of the game. However, the game said, yeah, that's cute, but these designs, they don't work in dip. So I am back to vanilla 1.5.1.5, and that means some stats have significantly changed, and I suddenly find myself with quite a lot of tonnage extra. So what is one to do? Well, if you got this much available, might as well add a few more barrels. This way I can boost my firepower, I can stabilize the offset of the ship, and I still have 8,000 tons left to deploy additional levels of armor. Going to improve barbettes to barbette 5. This is going to make sure that my flash chance, although, is that necessary? 14.8%? 3%. If I go to barbette 3, yeah. Still, I'd rather not get blown up, so there is that. A double hull, even a triple hull might be within reach. And really, 1 ton. Fine. A triple hull does give me 7.5% additional resistance, so I'd gladly take that, sacrifice some engines. I now also get the access to stereoscopic, the sonar 3, which is nice. As for superstructure, let's improve that to 4 inches. Inner belt 10, let's say 6 and 3. Inner deck, I don't know, 5. Might be a bit much. Okay, might be a lot. There. Okay, so, new attempt. Since the other one was just spawning randomly designed battleships, and I really need to target exactly the ship that I want dead. We're targeting the Songbird. Let's go. I said Songbird, but I mean Stormbird. Now this is the rock. This is the battleship. This is the thing that needs to be sunk. The Chinese command battleship, by the looks of it, has the command tower. And as, well, not the command tower. It has this very interesting and very rare A, B, C, which are all super firing. And then you got, let's say, turrets X and Y on the stern, which are not super fire. Well, what are also super firing. Apparently not enough tonnage available to also add a turret to the far stern. This thing has 10, 15-inch guns. What sort of guns you got there, sir? Yeah, 15-inchers. Okay, this, interestingly enough, is not necessarily the threat. This is the thing that needs to go down. This is what's going to be shooting me. Okay, 10, 11-inch guns. Well, I might have been told not to use high explosive. The AI has not yet exactly been taught that specific lesson. So this is going to be a, well, potentially a painful encounter against this ship right here. I'll definitely be in range. They're 11-inch Mark 5. If this thing tries to burn me down, I think it has a pretty decent chance of succeeding. Now, it also has one single 16-incher. I'm not exactly sure what the point is about the 16-incher, but okay, so be it. We're going to start lobbing some shells at the rock over here. And with pretty good accuracy too. 30% chance to hit. Yeah, I want to start increasing speed, but only to 23 knots. We're going to sink the ship quickly, and then start turning around and running hell away. Because if this thing does try and burn me down, I'd rather not be where it is going to be. Damage to main gun, we're setting some fires. Interesting, considering the fact that I'm firing armor piercing. It's really a high tier armor piercing, but yeah, I suppose capitalistics, they might have an opportunity to set fires. Now keep in mind, this thing has to sink within 30 minutes of in-game time. We are on a clock. And if this thing keeps taking this minimum level of damage, well, we'll be here a while. And we might not actually get it done within the allotted time of 30 minutes. As for accuracy, I'm perfectly happy landing about 30% of my shells. Hopefully I can get a good deck pen. Yeah, we're just getting partials. It's main deck, partial, partial, partial. Okay, let's speed things along a little bit. Ow. No, it's barely ow. Time 9:55. Come on, sink. Take some more damage than this. I suspect that this ship is not just the rock in a, let's say, more mythical nature, but might also live up to the name in the amount of armor that it has. Unfortunately, I can't tell you. I'm seeing it has 40% identification, so we're a little ways there, but not quite there yet. As for the battlecruiser, yeah, similar. We are interestingly getting some damage in on their main tower. Normally I'd be quite happy about that, because it limits their ability to do damage control. If you are looking to set fires or cause floodings, great. The less damage control they have, the better. In this case, with all these partial pens and, well, hardly any pens, I don't think it matters that much. At the same time, the enemy seems to be largely unable to deal any kind of damage to the Shoho. And, yeah, 17% chance to pen. They're killing off just about 1% of my crew. I've lost 5% structural. I can do this for quite a while, but I only have 20 minutes left. Here's my thinking. I can try closing the distance. I can try getting closer to this ship. That might give me a better chance to pen their belt armor. Even at, let's say, 15 kilometers, that might still be a struggle, but 38 inches of belt pen, unless that is no longer accurate. What am I looking at? Yes. That does make a difference. Yeah. I can pen, let's say, 15 clicks out, 25.8 inches of armor at my own level of armor quality. So this does mean it is probably beneficial to close the distance. And yet, if I do that, this fire-spitting behemoth is also going to be in better capabilities of trying and burn me down. So I think I'll just, well, I think I'll merrily stay here. Keep lobbing shells at this thing. And wait for the armor to finally get tired. Because beyond that, I don't think that there's a whole lot that I can do. Ah, full pen. Very good. 94% ID. 96. Yep, there's another full pen. 98. Tell me your secrets. Okay. So you're 72,000 tons. You're displacing cramped crew quarters, and you're already suffering from severe losses at 28.3%. The ship is, yeah, that's a rock, alright. That's 20 inches all over with the exception of the conning tower, and I suspect that that got maxed out. So this thing is indeed almost unsinkable. Almost. But not quite. Because if they've lost 28% of their crew in this period of time, I have about 15 minutes left. If I've taken out 15%, oh sorry, yeah, let's say 30% of their crew in this period of time, I could probably force a crew surrender. Just by continuing to pummel the ship. Now, knocking out torpedo launchers or main guns or stuff like that would normally really help. But these underwater launchers are very difficult to get at, and these main guns are armored to Kingdom Come. There are no secondaries to eliminate. Bonk. I think we're in trouble now. What am I getting at? Main tower, foredeck, partial pens. Yeah, right. Oh, that was a good one. Full pen, 1638. They're down to 40% structural. At this point, this is going to come right down to the wire. I need to sink this thing. What about their Stormbirdie sister? If Yulari did what I think he might have done, he put everything into speed. He put quite a lot on guns, most likely with the capability of setting fires. No, he put HE cap ballistic on, so okay, that will not set too many fires. And he put almost no armor on. Called it. He put no armor on because the ship doesn't need it. You're not allowed to fire at this ship here. But you are supposed to sink the rock. 12 minutes for 40% structural integrity? At this point, pretty much every salvo is going to matter. 37% and some flooding. 34% crew loss. Going for belt pens, it really doesn't matter at this point. I cannot reposition the ship inside of 10 minutes enough to make that much of a difference here. Oh, I did push full into that ship. That's bad. Because this means for a couple of salvos, I do not have access to the rest of the guns. Also, I might be doing 30 knots, but that Song Stormbird is doing 38, so I'll never outrun that. Thankfully, though, it seems to be running out of HE. So it can slug me with AP all at once, but it will not likely actually be able to eliminate me. The rock immediately fixed that flooding that it had going on. 38.9% crew loss. Come on, you can do it. Come on, Shoho, I know you can do it. I think that this ship, interestingly, would actually make a pretty good campaign ship. Simply because those 16-inchers, they fire very quickly. It's arguably a bit expensive to be running your 16-inch guns around on a platform like this. But the chances of this thing getting sunk in a campaign, well, they're not that serious. Although, if you're playing a vanilla campaign without the Dreadnought Improvement Project, there is of course the very, very real risk of getting sunk by a random submarine that you can do absolutely nothing against. Oh, we're getting somewhere. 41.4. Right down to the wires. 36 minutes. 41.8. Come on, sink it, sink it, sink it, sink it. Bonk, 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 bonk. Destroyed main gun. Crew loss 43.7. And I suspect that they might be on a follow order. This Stormbird over here. They're doing 7 knots. 44.6. Come on, hammer this thing like once or twice more and it should be going down. If it doesn't go down to the fires, oh, that is. I just need a few more casualties. Pummel it. Got it. Okay. That's that part of the job done. For the rest of the points, ceasefire. If you sink the battleship within 30 minutes, you get 10 points. Not sinking the rock gives you 30 points, or gives you 0 points. So, job done. I'm considering this as a sinking, simply because I cannot actually shoot it anymore. I am not capable of doing that, because the ship is considered surrendered. The Stormbird. Surviving the Stormbird for 45 minutes, and we're already well on our way there, will give you 2 points and double your score. So that could mean I get 24 points, but we do have to get out of here. And this is when the gas turbines really come into their own. The gas turbines allow the ship to accelerate fairly quickly. But the Stormbird, no longer tied down by the speed limiting thing that is the rock, is racing around, easily keeping up. Unfortunately for the Stormbird, I have a pretty healthy amount of armor, just like its protectee. Slash, well, former home, I guess. Speed. We can still race up to 28 knots. Steady as she goes. Destroying the Stormbird will disqualify you, so don't do that. Damaging the Stormbird on purpose will disqualify you. This thing doesn't have a smidge on it. It's not even been shot at. Your own vessel. Losing your own vessel after the battleship is destroyed makes you lose 5 points. No joy. Losing your own vessel before anything else is destroyed. Tough luck. No joy. That is not a problem. This Stormbirdie is definitely trying to keep track of me, but well, good luck with that. They'll probably be in range for a very long time. There's 33 kilometers on the 16-inchers and these 11-inchers. 54 kilometers. Sheesh. Thankfully, if you look at their armor pen, they got very long barrels. And that long barrel means that it has such a flat trajectory that it's really good at penning your armor broadside on. But its shells are so fast that they're not that likely to land on your deck. I said, but that's only that goes for 11-inch, not the 16. This 16, oh, clever. The 16 is almost like a mortar. That's a shortened barrel, I think. And that does have a lot of pen. Sneaky, sneaky. Well done, you Larry. That's a clever tactic. That is a clever tactic. Because those shells that come right down, those 16-inchers, yeah, that has a potential to actually deal damage. Like this main deck partial pen for 10 damage. We're not even going to notice that. But that 16-incher that can definitely deal a lot of damage is. Fortunately, it's out of ammo. It has 11 AP shells left and then it has 7 HE. So let's say it runs out of AP. The HE shells is the first column at 22 clicks. It can pen 4 inches of armor. And I have that and plenty more. So this bird is done singing. Because I only need to survive 4 more minutes and the challenge is complete. Come on. Range 22.6, 22.7. The ship seems to be sailing broadside onto me to try and maximize all of its firepower. And it's not a bad idea. I probably would try to do that too, especially considering I can do 38 knots. But, well, it's running out of ammo. And those 11-inchers don't scare me. Now the Shoho has lost about 8% of her crew. We've had a fire here and there, and the rest of the ship is perfectly fine. Most of the shots that were shot at the ship, or the shells that were shot at the ship, have been blocked or ricocheted. Then we had a bunch of partial pens, 1 overpen, and 15 real pens. Again, 8.6 inches of armor. Looks like a 4 deck at an angle, is my expectation. Anyway, this good old bird here ran out of ammo for the 16, and I have run through the time that I need to do. So with that, challenge complete. Score, 24 points. I'm not sure exactly how a tiebreaker is going to get decided, but the stats for my ship is that I still have 80% of structural integrity left. Hope you guys enjoyed the challenge. I think it was a fun one. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, and if you have a good one that we can all play against each other, by all means, post it down below, and we might actually get around to playing it. Thank you for watching, I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you soon for more.